Boxing is no longer against the ropes. It is on the canvas, and it is about to take a final 10 count. What can be done? Can the sport bounce back from what we're seeing lately? I have no idea, but we hope it's time to clean up boxing. Corruption in the sport of boxing is at an all-time high. And it's not that it hasn't always been there, but what helps us see it more clearly is the fact that we now have modern social media where news and events can be covered faster and the information can get put out to the people more quickly than ever before. As we consider the corruption in the sport, it ranges and varies across the entire expanse of the sport of boxing. Something needs to be done. Someone needs to step forward and impose a line of discipline because the ethics have totally gone out the window. If things were under the table before, now there is no longer a table. The doors and windows are wide open in the sport of boxing. From judging and officiating fights, we are seeing ridiculous things happen in the ring, from fighters being not credited the rounds that they win and losing lopsided decisions and decisions that are made to look closer than they actually are with the corruption in mind. We're seeing officials having to be fired and resign because of their scorecards. We're seeing referees overseeing bouts, penalizing fighters, taking points away unnecessarily, and not upholding the integrity of the sport. There's even been referees officiating fights who have gone to put themselves in front of the cameras for interviews, even when sanctioning bodies and commissioners in the past have advised against this. One referee even minded, "I thought I was doing what was best for the sport of boxing." Really, one man can make that determination when you have commissioners, you have officials who judge and oversee the sport. Sanctioning bodies, the fees that they impose and the money that they take under the table to manipulate the rankings, this needs a closer look as well. When you talk about a fighter who is going to defend a title that he may hold currently, all of a sudden someone who was never ranked in the top 10 will pop up. That's the next opponent. That's the person that he'll fight, and that person will have paid for that ranking. Many fans don't follow the rankings from fight to fight with the fighters that they follow. It's interesting. Maybe you should. With the sanctioning bodies creating enough chaos with multiple belts from everything from some type of ethnic pride or regional pride that have nothing to do with championship battles are being imposed, and guess what happens? Fees are attached to these belts. The fighters themselves, you can't blame them for wanting to earn $1, but you can blame them for not standing up for their individual right. When a sanctioning body can command so much percentage of a fighter's purse, this is outright robbery. And the fighters can stand together in brotherhood when it comes down to those factors. Promoters get in the way of the events. When they have a fighter that's undefeated or have very minimal loss on their records, promoters like to showcase this and pass it off as something that being successful. It's used as a bargaining chip. Remember, it's not about the record, it's about the fighter and the way that they're able to perform, whether they've met challenges and overcome them or are trying to come back from a defeat. This is what has always driven the sport as far as the fans. They really don't care about belts at the end of the day, but everyone else outside of the fighters and their camps are trying to make belts the most important thing. And they've sold this idea to the television networks. The media doesn't help us at all in this as well, because the way they cover the sport, they no longer hold people accountable, and when the corruption is so blatant, they make sure that they turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to what's happening. Passing someone off to a television network as a heroic, capable fighter who really has never really met a challenge in the ring, only to be upset by someone who was not supposed to win, really shows how the sport has been watered down. With all of these multiple titles that are out there, I no longer call fighters champions. I refer to them as titleists, because they could be here today and gone tomorrow. And the fans need to know the difference, because media isn't covering it the way it's supposed to. The fans are led to believe what they will on their own. Boxing is one of the few sports that can teach their fans as they go along the journey in each bout. Media has taken a step back. They're no longer responsible in descriptively telling viewers what's happening with the action, what they should be looking for, and why someone is or is not successful. How can we get beyond this? Well, us YouTubers, as they like to refer to us now, we are on the rise. We are on the move, displacing old media as we begin to tell it like it truly is. We cover the bouts, we cover the corruption, we speak about the ethicless promoters and commissioners in the sport. With so much corruption, this is the news of the day, and it has to be covered. When people don't want to talk about these things, ignorance and chaos runs amok. Rewarding bad behavior in the sport seems to also be the call of order. We've seen guys test positive for banned substances and still be allowed to fight. Where do they do that in anything in life? If you test positive on your job where they do drug testing, would you be allowed to keep your position? Probably not. At least you would have to enter a rehab situation if the job offered that, or they would clearly let you go. Building statues and monuments to people who are cheaters and people who have abused the rules and regulations of the sport is not the way. We've seen twice in the past year and a half where fighters have had monuments erected when they've had questionable ethic in the sport. What are we teaching our children? This is not something that should go on. And as long as we can cover the sport the way it should be covered, we can expose all of this. It is time to clean up the sport of boxing. We're seeing so much of this corruption. It makes people turn to a different way of considering sports and walking away from the sport of boxing altogether. It's time to clean up the sport of boxing. This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the LDBC. Lions Den boxing community, and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you think about it being time to clean up boxing and what we can do. Leave comments. Let's discuss it further. Let's not let them continue to ruin the sport that we say that we love. This is all I have for you at this time. Until we meet again, peace, and to everyone out there, please remain safe.